I'm beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Hey, welcome to another episode. If you do enjoy this video, consider giving it a like, as it does help the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Game number 49, Space Station Silicon Valley. Released in 1998, this game was developed by DMA Design and published by Take-Two Interactive. If these names sound familiar, that's normal. They later went on to form Rockstar and create the popular series known as Grand Theft Auto. During this period of the challenge, people would ask me what game I wanted to have drawn, and this was it. I hadn't played nor seen this game since I was very young, so I was excited to see how it held up. The only game mode in this is the single player story mode, so we'll complete that to beat this game. The game opens with a cutscene showing a dude and a robot in a spaceship flying around. They start arguing over the music playing, and then the ship crashes into an asteroid, and they are on a crash course straight to the space station. It then shows a dog and a sheep in love and having a moment or whatever, and then the ship crashes and kills the dog. Rip Roger. The robot, named Evo, gets launched into the air and shatters into a bunch of pieces. A single computer chip flies out, and that's what we control. It turns out all the animals here are actually robots, and we can take over their body when they die. So like here, I can use the dog to kill the sheep and take over its corpse. Each animal has different abilities and stats, like the dog can bite and the sheep can float. The first level is extremely simple, really just a tutorial type thing to get you used to how the game works. I actually ended up deciding to 100% this game because I just thought it would be fun to do. To do that, you have to get all 15 of these purple orb things in each level, as well as do an additional challenge to receive a golden trophy. Every level has objectives you need to complete in order to beat them. Like in the second level, you have to get 4 sheep into the pen and find the mouse with wheels. Everything else is optional. You're also able to transfer out of an animal to control the computer chip itself. However, you constantly take damage and you're very slow and can only walk. The second level is really easy still. Just hunt down the 4 sheep, kill them, and bring them back to the pen. And the mouse was just chilling in a random doghouse that's easily accessible. Still kinda like a tutorial level in a way, but with a small amount of danger. The mouse has a boost ability that makes it roll around incredibly fast. So remember how I was talking about those golden trophies? Each level has an additional challenge to obtain one. The first level actually has a super complex one that I didn't figure out yet. But in the second level, we raced against a dog on wheels as the mouse. It's a really easy race, but after winning it, the trophy appears. In Mission 3, the objectives start getting a bit more vague, I guess. We have to deactivate the big machine, deactivate the electric fence, and bring the guy in the ship something soft and fluffy. There were a couple new animals in this one, a sheep with a spring that bounces like crazy, which I used to kill these foxes. The fox is nice because it can fight pretty well with its tail and teleport around like a dash. This level's still super easy though. The machine's very obvious thing that you have to just attack the levers on, and as you may guess, the soft and fluffy thing is a sheep. Like I said before, I ended up 100%ing this game, but I'm not going to get into every single purple orb location or all the gold trophies. Some of them's really basic, like the race was. You can find the full playthrough of this game on my second channel, which is linked in the description below. Anyway, in level 1, the trophy is really interesting. If you kill the sheep in this level, the dude in the spaceship gets mad because he likes sheep. He threatens to burn us, so he makes the ship let out fire from the back. If we bring the sheep from the original cutscene there to get burned up, it spawns a golden trophy. Kind of morbid, but, well, it's needed. Level 4 was a bit tougher, but most of the first world's really easy, honestly. I hit a switch to disperse some water to grow some carrots, and hit another switch to connect a bridge. This level had a new animal, the dog on wheels, although we technically saw it earlier when we raced it. There's just no real way to kill this thing with the mouse or the sheep, so I had to get creative. There's a bale of hay that slams down inside a barn, and I lured the dog under it, crushing it. This thing is just awesome to use. It's super fast, and it also launches missiles, so it's the perfect balance of mobility and damage. And finally, I stepped on a switch inside a random house to disable the electric fence, completing this level. Oh, and there was yet another new animal in this level, the fox on wheels. It's identical to the normal fox, except it's just way faster moving around. There's a ton of different animals in this game you can use. It really seems like they put a lot of work into the design of them all. And wouldn't you know it, there's a third new enemy in this level, the ram. It's just like the sheep, except it can ram its head to attack things instead of floating. Next level, we spawn as a fox on wheels. really powerful, but man, this level has bears, and as you might guess, they're very strong and very tanky. The fox didn't stand a chance, honestly. When you die in this game, it's not really that big of a deal. You lose all your progress in the current level and your score resets, but that's it. I found a rat in this level. It can bite people and lay toxic mines, which are really just rat poop. With these poop mines at my disposal, I easily took down the bear from a safe distance. The bear's incredibly slow, but man, it sure packs a punch. The main goal here is to get this dead scientist to get out of the toxic pools so you can retrieve the key card from him. The bear does this easy by bringing a cube to a portal. No idea why that works, but hey, as long as I can win. After that, it's just a few giant poop mines to dodge and then smooth sailing to the exit. Next level was pretty tough. I started as the mouse and had to kill a bear. Obviously, the mouse can't do that, so I needed to upgrade. There was a ram and a dog on wheels, with the dog being perfect to take out the bear. I decided to kill the ram with the mouse, then kill the dog with the ram. This was actually really tough to do because the mouse just dies so fast. After quite a few tries, I did kill the ram, then took the dog down with it. The dog was easily able to take down the bear from a safe distance, and I had the bear fill up the pool, completing the last objective. The gold trophy in this level was really interesting. You just have to lead 3 animals to these 3 levers, which is easy but time consuming. However, the interesting part is this trophy is literally impossible to collect. The devs they forgot to give it a hitbox. Like, I'm not sure how that got through QA. Thankfully, the version of this game I'm playing on has a fan-made patch that does give it a hitbox, so I can collect it. Like, this game was literally impossible to 100% back in the day without using a cheat code. So the next level, it was really frustrating. We start as the fox on wheels, really solid animal. However, there's so many places to fall to your death in this one, and fall I did. I eventually made my way to an enclosure with a bunch of spring sheep, including a spring ram, which was new. This ram is when I learned this game has fall damage. Yeah, rip again. Basically, I died on this one a lot. Like, a lot. Completing the objectives themselves wasn't too bad, but getting all the collectibles was. After a bunch of trial and error, I found a switch to turn off gravity, which made me not die from fall damage anymore, and I got everything without dying. When you do die, you lose all your progress in the current level, so it can suck in some scenarios. Next up was the sewer. The goal in this level is to enter the king rat's lair and kill it. There's a group of rats inside this room that won't let anyone in but the king, so off we go. I didn't really like this one too well, honestly. It's like a really big, confusing maze, and at one point you have to fight a fox on wheels with a rat. It's so hard to win that matchup. And what's a fox doing in the sewer anyway? Get out of here. After quite a long time of running around the tunnels, I made it to the king rat's lair. He's sitting on a giant toilet and he's ready to go. It moves around quickly and leaves behind a toxic gas in its path. And it just has so much HP too. I lucked out though, and it got stuck against a wall, making the kill free. The king rat's really cool to control, mostly because it has a call to arms ability where any nearby rats will attack enemies in the area. I made my way back to the room from the start, and the rats welcomed me in as their leader. In the next level, we start as the king rat. This was really cool because there's a bunch of normal rats near the start and they all just followed me around. One of the main goals here is to kill this group of foxes. Normally, that is a horrible matchup for rats, but I'm the king and my minions are willing to die for my cause. I don't know, I thought this part was so clever. It's like running a small-scale battle or something silly like that. In the end, I lost a lot of good rats out there, but we were victorious. Their sacrifice won't be forgotten. The other goal of this level is to sabotage this machine they call the Rat-O-Matic. Basically, it does this convoluted process to transform unsuspecting mice into evil rats. It took me quite a few tries to get through this, mostly due to the awkward camera angles, but I did make it through and blow the thing up. Mission complete. So now after all those levels, we come to the first boss level. Here we can find a piece of Evo's robot suit, which is the main objective of this game. It's kind of weird to call this a boss level, I guess. It's more like a challenge level. We're controlling a dog in an airplane and we have to fly through all of these rings. That's really easy, but then it starts to get tough. A bunch of other flying dogs show up and we gotta kill them. Not only that, a bunch of flying foxes show up too, and it's just chaos. This probably would be impossible, but thankfully they threw in this recharging station where you can regain health if you fly through it. There's just so many enemies flying around and the aiming's not too great. It took a few tries, but I got through it just fine. So on the level select screen, you may notice how the wheel is segmented into 4 sections. These are the different environments of the game. That last one was like the grassy one, I guess. Up next is the water and ice environment. Hey, it's a long game. Guess I should mention the music in this game. It's really nice. The level select music, it was just iconic to me, and it triggered a huge feeling of nostalgia when I first heard it during this playthrough. The music during the levels is really nice too. It's really chill and has a lot of like pipe organ sounds in it, which it's really unique for a video game. I liked it. So the second environment looks quite different from what you'd expect, although it does still have the metallic walls and things because we're in a space station after all. We start as the penguin who just kind of waddles around and throws snowballs. One of the objectives for this level is to obtain a husky, so I just spammed snowballs at it until it died. The husky's fairly fast and it can bite for high damage. Later I found a rabbit that jumps really high and kicks with its feet. This level, it was super easy, just had to kill that husky and hit a few levers to turn on the snowblower. Guess it's like an introduction to this new environment. The next mission was super weird. The only objective was to find all the heads from the dead scientists in the level. I guess we wanted to collect knowledge from them or something? I don't know. Some parts of this game, they're strange. A few new animals in this one too. I found a helicopter rabbit that flies around and drops bombs from above, which it's honestly kinda sick. Then I found a walrus with a propeller on the back. It skates around fast and can shoot homing missiles. I'm telling you man, there's so many different animals in this. In the next level I had to kill a fat ugly bird and destroy a stupid statue. The game's words, not mine. Early on in this one I found a wolf that skis and can also shoot missiles. It controls really similar to the walrus. You'd think you're the apex predator when you're a wolf with missiles, but then you run into the polar bear with bombs. This thing stacks out your entire HP in seconds. It took a few tries actually to take down the polar bear, and this thing is a tank. Literally. Like it moves around as a tank and it can shoot bombs that deal massive damage. I had to climb up to the top of a mountain and there was a seagull. Not sure why they wanted me to kill this bird so bad, but there we go. It flies around awkwardly, but the main use is it can pick up dead penguins and drop them somewhere. This was great because I needed to bring 4 penguins to the top of a mountain as well to destroy the statue, and it would have been miserable without it. Next level introduced polar bears that weren't tanks. These things are obnoxious. When you're far away, they curl up into a ball and you can't damage them. Then when you get close, they come out and do like a Mario ground pound move, which deals big damage and stuns you briefly. I really hated fighting these, probably the worst in the game. The best part of this level though was the king penguin. Just like the king rat, it commands any nearby penguins to fight for it, and it can fly through the air like a jetpack. The objective in this map feels pretty unique too. There was just a giant piano in a really futuristic looking room, and I had to play notes on it in like a memory match type way. The trophy on this one, it just didn't make sense though. You had to play some song on the piano and it didn't give you the lights for it. I'm not sure how you're supposed to figure out what song to play, like maybe the game hints at it somehow, but I just looked it up honestly. I tend to look things up for games I'm 100%ing because that's just an extra thing I'm doing, you know? It's not required to beat the game, but for just beating games, I do as much of it as possible without any external help. The next level, it's kinda bland. I just had to kill all the huskies to save the rabbits. The king penguin made quick work of them by bouncing on their heads. Kinda lame being the king penguin but not having a penguin army to command. The level after that though, it's just frustrating. You actually control a fish in this one, which is just plain useless. All it can do is swim around. There's like this switch you hit to control a landmine, and you have to figure out where to move it to blow certain things up. Then there's a valve you can turn to raise or lower the water, allowing you to access certain areas depending on the water level. It's really just a giant puzzle. Kinda reminds me of the water temple in Ocarina of Time. I think this was one of the longest levels in the entire game for me. So after that, it's I guess the boss or challenge of the ice environment. We control the walrus and it's just a race against 2 other walruses. The camera in this race, it's just, well, I don't know what they were doing. It's like slanted, so it feels like you have to tilt your head sideways to play the level. I'm not sure if that was done intentionally or by accident. There's boosts scattered throughout the track and you'll need to get most of them if you want to win. In the end, it's pretty simple, just fighting against the bad camera. If you lose though, the game literally just calls you a loser, like not hiding how they feel there. For winning, we obtain yet another piece of Evo's robot suit. Halfway through the game now. Next environment is the jungle. Well, I guess it's like half jungle, half like safari type thing. I spawned in as a turtle that was a tank that shot missiles, and I immediately found myself in a bad situation. There were 2 giant elephants shooting water at me through their trunks. Poor turtle didn't stand a chance. My second run, I kept my distance and took both of them down. The elephant's incredibly slow and it's obviously tanky, and it can launch giant boulders. A bit further in, I found a hyena, which I blasted with water and took over its body. The hyena has by far the best ability in the game. It laughs and causes other animals nearby to laugh themselves to death. I think it's because of my amazing jokes, honestly. What's the difference between a Yankees fan and a dentist? One roots for the Yanks, and the other yanks for the roots. Also, is it me or does this hyena look like a super cursed Courage the Cowardly Dog? Anyway, the goal of this level is to kill all those fish. Real easy intro to this environment. In the next level, my worst nightmare came true. I was the hyena, so I was expecting a good old fun time with some laughs and goofs, you know? But that's when I saw it. The apex predator of the entire planet. The hippo. Hippos are incredibly dangerous. They can run extremely fast, swim insanely fast, and they're very territorial. And they're leading the pack in the animal that kills the most people. Disclaimer, this does not include indirect things like a mosquito giving someone a virus. Like, this thing just absolutely annihilates your health bar. I did end up taking it down with a well-timed laugh combo, and the hippo was mine. It's pretty slow, but it's an absolute behemoth of a tank. Unfortunately, the only thing the hippo's used for is pressing a button underwater. I wanted to mess some dudes up with it, but oh well. The thing this level did have is what is probably the worst section in the entire game. See, there's just a gigantic pit with lava inside and seemingly no way across. But there's a trick. The floor here is entirely invisible, and only some spots are floor and the rest you just fall into a lava-filled mess. You can tell where the floor is based on the rain landing as well as the missiles land when you shoot them with the turtle, but the exact hitboxes of the ground, it's kinda hard to tell. I fell here quite a bit, and then when you die you have to take down the hippo with the hyena again, which isn't easy either. The main objective in this one is to kill a parrot, which is at the very end of the level. Once you get past that lava pit, it's smooth sailing. Oh, did I say that last level had the worst part in the game? Yeah, never mind, this level actually has the worst. You spawn on a small island in the middle of a giant toxic swamp. Some parts of the swamp are safe to be on, while others will cause you to fall inside and die instantly. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to know which spots are safe and which aren't. You just have to memorize it by trial and error. Once I finally did get out of the swamp, I found a hyena which I took over, then I ran into some gorillas. All the animals here are so tanky, man. Elephants, hippos, now gorillas. They like to slam into the ground and try to crush you, but not even they can resist the hyena's contagious laughter. Once you reach the gorilla, you're not home free yet though. It's still very easy to fall in the swamp, and even the gorilla can't stay in it for very long. One thing the gorilla can do that no other animal can is swing on vines, and these vines are janky. The way you jump off of them is just so unintuitive, and I still don't think I ever fully understood it by the time I'd finished the game. Nonetheless, it's a big part of the jungle environment. The main objective in this is to get a gorilla to climb on the magic vine. It somehow moves around the entire level as you hang on it, as if it's magic or something. Really, all the vine's used for is collecting all the purple orb things for 100% completion. In the next mission, we randomly spawn in as a lion. We haven't even seen this dude before, but hey, I'll take being given a top predator like this for free. It has a roar attack that doesn't really sound much like a roar, more like you gross the other animals out with your bad breath. The objective here is for some reason that guy wants us to get the dead elephant out of a tree, so I found a parrot and flew up to it. The next level, we just have to kill everything basically. Almost right away I found a chameleon to take over. It can turn invisible and attack with its tongue. They were like these hyena motorcycle things. I don't know what they were, but they're on wheels and they shoot missiles. Kind of an unfair fight here, man. So instead, I went and found an elephant and I kicked their butts. Now I was the hyena bike thing, and it was kind of a downgrade compared to the laughing hyena, but we take what we can get. I made my way to the gorillas and killed those as well. Now I could swing on some vines leading to a key revealing the exit. So then it's on to the challenge of the jungle environment. Apparently Evo goes rogue and jumps into a chameleon and turns invisible. So we're playing as the dude in the ship now. We control this machine that we use to track him down. It's basically an auto-scroller rail shooter type level where you use darts to kill as many enemies as possible. The stronger the enemy, the more points it gives. You end up needing 12,100 points to win, although the game doesn't tell you this anywhere. After you get to the end with the required score, you find Evo as the chameleon and kill it. Then you gain another piece of the robot suit. So then it's on to the final environment of the game, the desert. Right away I was controlling some kind of fox that throws bombs and I used it to kill a camel. And further in I found a vulture. I used it to open these fuel valves, which was the goal of the level, and the first desert level was done. Easy enough. The next level had me using some camel with a missile launcher on top of it, kind of like a tank. It's an absolute powerhouse. The objective here is actually to destroy all the speakers. I haven't touched on this yet, but the music in this game is actually played through real speakers. The closer you are to them, the louder the music gets. If you don't pay attention to them, you wouldn't notice it. But I guess if you don't like the in-game music, you can disable it by blowing up the speakers. Later, there were these scorpions that shot lightning out of their tails. I had to drop all of them into this vortex pool to get the golden trophy. Before that, though, I had to use them to reach a small hallway with some orbs and a switch inside. In the next level, the goal is to obtain a kangaroo. I mean, I guess Australia is kind of a desert, right? This level's just massive, so there's tons of running around. Not much else here until I found 2 kangaroos at the top of a structure. In stereotypical fashion, they're actually boxing kangaroos. Fun fact, when I was in Australia, I actually saw 2 kangaroos boxing. It wasn't like part of some zoo show or something like that. Like, we saw a group of wild kangaroos out in the field, and 2 of them were boxing each other. I even have video of it. Although when we started recording, the fight was basically over. Anyway, the kangaroo can jump high and throw punches. I used the kangaroo to beat up some vultures and completed the rest of the level. In the next level, I had to find 4 archaeological discoveries. Although they're pretty obvious where they were because there's a giant camera set up next to them indicating one was there. The main interesting thing here was the golden trophy. I had to punch out the teeth of this giant skull in the ground. Nothing special except for those gigantic creepy bloodshot eyes it had. Like, what the heck, man? That would terrify little kid me. In the next level I had to become a desert fox, become a kangaroo, and become a happy flappy chappy. No idea why he calls it that, but it definitely sounds like something other than a vulture. This level had this frustrating wind mechanic that blew you off of platforms. It sucks because most creatures are so slow in this game, so you spend a lot of time getting back. I persevered though and made it to becoming the desert fox. Then I found a kangaroo, but it was so frustrating. It would run in circles around this hill, always evading me. This is stupid. Eventually I figured out you could shoot it from a distance to get it to come down, and then finally I climbed up as the kangaroo to become a happy flappy chappy. Level complete. The level after that, our objectives are to get a big bouncy thing and get something flappy. He's really getting lazy with these objective descriptions now. I made my way to some ruins to find a bouncy thing, and it ended up being a kangaroo on a pogo stick. Oh, and it can throw boomerangs. I used that to grab something flappy, otherwise known as a vulture. Now it was on to the final challenge mission of the game for the desert. This has you playing as a kangaroo in a big boxing arena. You have to beat up a camel, followed by a camel with a missile launcher, then another kangaroo. It only took 2 tries, then I had the final piece of Evo's robot suit. Beating this unlocked a new mission in the center of the selector, Big Celebration Parade. It shows this cutscene where a laser is pointed at the Earth, and apparently we have to stop the evil brain before it destroys everyone. In this mission we play as Evo himself, and since I 100%ed the game, Evo's in a golden suit and he has the strongest laser beam. It's kind of a letdown, honestly. You just shoot it with the laser and then it dies. However, apparently the evil brain was controlling the space station. Now it's on a crash course straight for Earth. It explodes in the middle of New York City. So now a bunch of the robot animals have escaped from the space station and they're running rampant through the city. Evo has to destroy all of them before it's too late. You just run around the city and see if there's a robot animal, you zap it. The dude in the ship's like, hey, you saved everyone, good job. But he's the real hero and he tells us to get lost. Then the credits play, game complete. Also, for 100%ing the game, you unlock a secret mission after beating it. It's like some arcade-style 2D side-scrolling shooter. It's extremely bland, honestly. honestly. It's not worth doing 100%. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Space Station Silicon Valley. Like I said before, I hadn't played nor seen this game since it was new, and it held up alright. The nostalgia definitely carries it a bit for me, but it's a decent game. The amount of different animals to play as is definitely the best part. The physics can be kinda janky at some points, the 100% reward wasn't worth it at all, the music was great, and the graphics, they're average. Also, I can't believe there's a collectible that's literally impossible to collect in the game unless you use a fan-made patch. Like, it's kinda ridiculous. I gave it a 6 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 5.5 out of 10 for difficulty. About average difficulty, I'd say. It's much easier if you don't go for 100%. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, consider giving it a like, as it does help the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and here's a sneak peek at what is coming next. There are 342 games on it. This is to choose game number 50, a big milestone. Space Station Silicon Valley was right here, and now it's not. So there's plenty of stuff we could get. Let's see what it is. 3, 2, 1, go. I intentionally misclicked. 3, 2, 1, go. 54. What is that? We are playing Charlie Blast's Territory. What the heck is that?